What's up, guys? Are you out there? I got my mask on. Don't worry, we're good. I've been washing my hands too. Let me loosen this up. You can't hear anything. I've been washing my hands too. Day 2 of the quarantine. The quarantine special. Quarantine conversation. Yo, Bill Dado. What's going on? Hey, Malone. Yo, DPN. Can you guys hear me with the thing over my face? Oh, Stephanie London. Oh, yes, Stephanie. Send me your mailing address to Constitutional Kevlar. You did such a great job yesterday as moderator, and that's what I want you guys like. Not for nothing, but a moderator is really, their job is really to control the conversation and do what's best for the channel in which you're moderating for. I said something like when I was holding up the Family Secrets book, I said go to Operation Family Secrets and get a copy. Stephanie took her time to look. It's actually Operation Family Secrets Tours. I knew that, but obviously I'm talking to you. I could not say it. So thank you so much, Stephanie. That's what a moderator is supposed to do. And now I give out wrenches. After a month, I take them all back. Except for certain people, like 2 or 3 people can hang on to them. And Stephanie, I think she might be one of those people. But Stephanie, send me your information to constitutionalkevlar@gmail.com, and I'll mail you out some Demand Your Flag decals. There was 2 other people who came up with Ernest Franca. What's his name again now? Hermes Franca. I always want to say Hermes Franca. That's an MMA fighter. Enrico Fermi. Is it meth or crack? I don't know what that means. It's in your hand, so you would have to tell me. What did you buy? Fermi, yeah. So what I want to talk about today? Hopefully I have one of my friends jumping on. She has a loved one who is in Cook County Jail, waiting sentencing on a murder 1 charge. And I just wanted to kind of get a perspective of what it's like to be in jail. Now, Cook County Jail, or any jail for that matter. Now, he happens to be convicted. He's in between the time he got convicted at trial and sentencing. So he's in that phase. So that's why he's still there. But 99% of those people there are not convicted. They're innocent until proven guilty. They just can't make bond. They don't have a bond, whatever the case may be. Never been in prison or anything like that, but I would say it sucks. Well, I'm saying, yeah, it obviously sucks, but sanitary is like those places they live, those buildings, those dormitories, those divisions, they would be condemned if it wasn't for it being a prison. Like it's I've heard there's talk about it snows in the shower in the winter because there's holes so big in the walls, and so it's definitely the DOJ came back in 2008 and said it was unsanitary. People, they got DOJ violations for men getting bit by mice and rats while they slept. They won lawsuits for having to sleep on the floor. Everybody that sleep on the floor got $1,000. For every it was week they had to sleep there, month they had to sleep there, and then there was a thing called the Richard doctor, the Dick doctor, and what his job was for people coming into receiving was to take a Q-tip and shove it in the front of a man's body, below his navel and above his kneecaps. So, and they were testing for, I think, gonorrhea. So it's all day long. In. Push this. Like, literally the worst job ever that humanity has created. Mankind has never created a worse job than that. Like, you couldn't pay me $1 billion and give me every playmate in the world to do that. I would never be able to be the D doctor. just stuffing people's that's horrible. Never seen anyone get paid to sleep in the floor though. Our county jail keeps around 400. I'll say so. Cook County Jail is the largest single site jail in the nation. Means all in one place, obviously. When it was really overcrowded at its peak, it had over 1,100 prisoners. Now it's down to about 6,000. The new sheriff of Cook County is a really, really good sheriff. Like he focuses on mental illnesses and addiction being a disease, nonviolent drug offenses, getting house arrest and stuff like that. But before him was Sheehan, and he just did not care. It was Leon Valley. Why is Leon Valley a town? Is it a county? Is it big? Like why Leon Valley seems to always be in rotation, and there's just that name in our world. Guys, hit that like button. Come on. 18 likes, 69 people. It's right there. My man, Blair Force One. Let me hit you with that wrench for saying that, Blair Force One. Yeah. Michigan goes on lockdown called Stay Home, Stay Safe. At midnight, everything will be shut down except essential jobs. Well, yeah, everything's supposedly shut down. Infamous. Well, but what is it? You're not answering me what it is. Leon Valley is what? A town? A county? I know it's infamous in Texas because I always hear about it, but what is it? Howdy, Frank Kohler. Chris, what's up? Let's get the likes up. Random commentator, I smash a like coming in. Hit the like button. Have your mind blown. Your mind blown. I believe it's town. Okay. So yeah, did you ever hear Mike Tyson was talking about DMT, taking a DMT trip? DMT is supposedly it's a chemical in your brain, in your body, that's released right before you die. So you ever heard those people who died and come back to life and they said their whole life flashed before their eyes? It's theorized that it is that the DMT being released into them. Now DMT also can be begotten by these rare toads. So people that have taken it have said that they've become reborn. You know, they've woken up and it's completely altered their view on the world. And there's also something else called ibogaine for people that are addicts. They go into like the sensory deprivation chamber. They take this ibogaine, which is a hallucinogenic of something of that nature, and they go into the sensory deprivation tank. It's not legal in America, so people go to either Spain or Mexico, and they swear by it. They swear that whatever it is about you that makes you an addict, whatever gene you have, that it cures it. Has anybody ever heard about ibogaine? Yeah, DMT. DMT is somewhat of a spiritual, they say, thing. Pineal gland. Yeah. Yes. That's what I heard too. It has a lot to do with your third eye, your pineal gland, and obviously Hinduism has a lot to do with your third eye. That's why they put the dot on their forehead. But ibogaine, has anybody ever heard about that? Where they put you in that sensory deprivation chamber and they give you this ibogaine, and it's somehow people swear by it. Like hardcore addicts that have money, they go by there, and their body and their brain is completely rewired. They no longer have the need for it. Yeah. I'm gonna try and get on I know somebody who's a doctor at Cook County Hospital, and I also know somebody who's a surgeon. I'm gonna try and get the one of those guys on just to talk to us about like what is, because there's so many news sources inundating you with all this different stuff. Like, is it real? Is it not? Are they crazy? Like, obviously it's real, but Like, what are the medical facts, the scientific facts that we know? So I'm gonna try and get the doctor on from Cook County or the surgeon, and just have them have them answer questions about what we know about this, because we must be really, really underprepared, because the governor was back on TV again talking about, he asked for something like, don't quote me on these numbers, like 150,000 surgical masks, and they sent him like 45,000. And when I say them, I mean the government, Washington D.C. Like, I wouldn't have thought we would have ran out of hospital masks so quick. They've cured people with high doses of mushrooms at Johns Hopkins from addiction or the coronavirus. My favorite drug is my old lady's panties. She's wore for a week. Put them huffing till I pass out. Now that's a drug. Okay. I should not have opened up this conversation. But hey, Melissa, are you out there? Because I did the video about having a loved one in prison. Because think about that. Let's say you have a loved one in prison. Let's say they're innocent, and there's no what you can't do. Yeah, there's nothing you can do. Like, if you don't have a bond, like, and the people in jail are usually not the healthiest of people. They're people that live very high risk lifestyles. So you're almost like stuck there. But I tried to have Melissa on. Melissa is a friend of mine. She's been on the channel before. You've seen her. She was there when I was at the James Skip. There she is. That's her. That's her right there. She's at the bottom. I'm here. I'll make you a moderator. So I wanted her to come on today, but she has a different sleeping pattern, which I think I do too. Is anybody else going through a different sleeping pattern? Like, just because of everything that's going on? Like, I find myself going to sleep at like 4 o'clock in the morning. But I wanted to ask Melissa, because I put out the video this morning that one of the officers had come down with the virus, and then they videotaped everywhere that officer had been, and then they put people on self quarantine. Melissa, are they doing anything special inside the jail? What's different? Are they handing out masks? Are they handing out the suave body or hand sanitizer? Is there anything going on different at Cook County Jail? As Cook County Jail is known to be overcrowded, known for being unsanitary, known for being basically hell on earth. Yeah, it seems like everybody's kind of been off schedule with their sleep. Hit that like button, guys. Come on, hit that like button. 11:48 in North Carolina. No cops card around jail. I am a horse doctor. I'm lucky if I get sleep, especially coming into the season. You're a horse doctor. I'm lucky if I get... What does that mean? There's a lot of horses that are sick? Isn't that a veterinarian? You're a veterinarian, John? Why are airlines not grounded? It's the fastest way for a disease to spread. Yeah, I don't know. The philosophy is low doses can treat migraines. Babies born in spring. So when I asked you guys yesterday, that you guys told me that all international travel is halted. So if your family member, whether they be Canada or Australia, they're not, and nothing's coming into the United States. Unfortunately, no cleaning supplies whatsoever, no hand sanitizer, no nothing. Now listen to what she just said. Melissa Villa, Unfortunately, they're not even giving them cleaning supplies. They're not even giving them bleach to wipe down their cells and mop them. Hand sanitizer, they're doing nothing for them. Nothing. Like, that's a travesty. It really is a travesty. Because I was researching, I got a very exciting video coming out tomorrow. Very, very exciting. And I was researching for it. And I was the researching a guy that was on death row and got exonerated. And he said he saw probably, well, he was on there 5 to 7 to 10 unscheduled executions. In other words, guys complaining of chest pains and be given a Tylenol. And then they die of a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, once you're behind that jail wall, it's whatever they say. You know? So, it's sad. Because, I mean, you're right on top of each other in jail. Don't get me wrong. At its height, it was 11,000. But now it's 6,000. So, the overcrowding isn't anywhere near as bad as it used to be. I am an Amish trained horse doctor. Wow, that's unbelievable. Yeah. Enter the jail for a small crime and leave on a stretcher. Enter the jail for a big crime and leave on the stretcher. You're innocent until proven guilty. Now, what would you guys say about this? I believe everybody should have a fair trial. If I were to tell you this, do you think this is fair or not? If I were to tell you somebody was on the Cook County Sheriff's Office, makes it seem as if they're on top of all protocol. That's a lie. Now, if I were to tell you this, I want you guys' honest opinion. Now, the story I'm doing, as a journalist, is what I see myself. I don't take sides, right? I have to be right down the middle, especially on very, very sensitive subjects, because then it gives me absolutely no. I'm just not credible. So, but now let's say one of your loved ones was on trial, and they were on trial for shooting a police officer off duty. And every single day of their trial, 30 officers showed up in full uniforms with their weapons on them. Now, when you're at a trial of that magnitude, it's like you're at a wedding. Here's the groom's side, here's the bride's side, here's the plaintiff's side, here's the defense side. So on the state side, there's 30 officers dressed head to toe in their police uniform, with their weapons on them in court. Now, who makes it to court duty? You can't have any felonies. You can't have any real arrests. It's soccer moms and soccer dads. Now, do you think that is not tainting the jury pool by those people seeing 30 officers having to stare at them every single day? And in society, the officers are seen as the symbol of good. And this guy, he didn't get to that seat as a defendant for nothing. And if there's 30 officers sitting there looking at us like this is the guy that did it, they're professionals. Those are the guys that find it. They wouldn't be there in uniform if that wasn't the right guy. Does that not seem prejudicial to the jury to allow officers in the courtroom every single day, 30 of them, and dressed in full uniform? Does it or not? Yes. There's a reason why they came dressed like that. It's not like it was a mistake. It's not like it was planned. It's going to be almost impossible for a jury to stand up and look all 30 of those officers and say, no, not guilty. And that's the issue in one of these cases. When I was told that, I was blown away. To me, that seems extremely prejudicial. Unbelievably prejudicial. They're there to make a statement, right? It would be like the other side, the defense side's wearing name tags or something to, you know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they did it. Officers in uniform and armed during trial, guns on them. So the people who have jury duty, remember, these are the people that don't have bad interactions with police officers because they wouldn't make it to jury duty if they did. These are the people who only have good, these are the good guys in society to them. And they see 30 officers with guns on them, and they're all there saying, this is the guy who did it. And the guy that did it's got tattoos. To me, it just doesn't seem fair. It would be a lot easier for the judge to say, listen, I don't want that. I want a fair trial. Don't come to court dressed like that. Yeah, they shouldn't have been armed. Yeah, they shouldn't have been armed because, they shouldn't have been armed because they're in the courthouse. The courthouse is protected by the Cook County Sheriffs, not the Chicago Police Department. So how did they get their gun through security? Why should they be able to have their gun? Because it was an officer-involved thing, and emotions ran high, so, I just didn't think it was fair. Everyone deserves a fair trial, and there's no way somebody get a fair trial under those circumstances. It just can't happen. Good old boy network. The bailiff is one who should be armed, correct? Are bailiffs armed in court? I'm not. In Cook County courts, a bailiff could be armed, yes, but I'm trying to think inside my head when to go to court if they're armed or not. Yeah. They were trying to start this new thing in Chicago. Yeah, well, I mean, whether they're armed or not, all depends on the jurisdiction, the state, you know what I'm saying, the county. Everybody has their own rules, So in Illinois, our laws are broken down into counties and then circuits. So, if you're there's Cook County, there's there's jails inside Chicago that are Cook County jails, and then there's 5 out in the suburbs. So everything depends on what state you're in, and more so what jurisdiction you're in, on whether they have armed, if they're allowed to be armed in the courthouse or not. But officers that have nothing to do. So she's saying the bailiffs aren't even armed in the ones in the courtroom in Chicago. The jury sits between the judge and the DA. That's not not in our courtrooms. I mean, so the criminal courts building is that's where I was at, right? And that's a very, very old building. That's where I was at for the James Gibson hearing for his petition of innocence. So he was petitioning the state of Illinois that he was innocent. So he was saying that he wants the state of Illinois to recognize that he is not guilty of the crimes in which he spent 29 years in prison for. Okay? So to get that is a huge deal legally, because other people, like I interviewed Mark Clements, who also didn't commit the crime and was tortured into a confession. He just got a deal that, if he waives his right to go after all this stuff, to let him out right now. Well, a lot of people are going to take that after 28 years because there's no guarantee that there's ever going to come anything along that's going to get you out, especially if you didn't do it, and especially if they picked you up when you were 16 and it's 28 years later. It's like, dude, okay, I won't go after any. Just let me out of here. This is a nightmare. Can you imagine being in prison for something you didn't do? Yeah, everybody go visit justiceforalex.info. That has a lot. That's the specific case I'm talking about. Justiceforalex.info. If one of my mods that's way smarter than me can put that as a clickable link, I will love you. And I'm kind of talking to Stephanie because I feel like she's the one who could do it. But if she can't, then don't worry about it. But if you guys can somehow put justiceforalex.info as a clickable link, I would love you guys. Yeah, ask the dude out on making a murderer. And yeah, and that's the craziest thing about making a murderer. Oh, look at how fast she did that. Holy cow, Stephanie London. That's it. Stephanie London is Miss Scarpetti's the top moderator, but she's the co-manager, and she is top moderator when Stephanie's not around. That's 2 days in a row. Stephanie's come up big. Miss Scarpetti bought me a computer. You are awesome, Stephanie London. You definitely have to send me your thing on Gmail. And I go to constitutionkevlar@gmail.com, and I'll give me your address, and I'll mail you the demand your flag decals. It's a whole case. I can't. To break down the evidence, like, I can't tell you the evidence. They have let's say I don't want to speak on it because I don't want to say the wrong things. You would have to talk. You would have to go to more to justiceforalex.info and ask those questions, because I'm not going to sit here and ask those questions, and I don't know them. These are very, very high stakes situations, just like Freeman Liberty. Who got arrested by the FBI. Like, far be it from me to start talking on his behalf. Like, I only say the things I pass through him first. He says, he wants me to put it out there. He wants me to put more out there than it should. So I got to pull back the reins. I'll be like, dude, some of the stuff is not going to help us. Yeah, the PayPal at Disorderly Product League. Thank you, Mr. Jank. You get 3 of these for $5. You get one signed by President Reagan. President Reagan, the Tyrant Slayer. And I'm getting new decals, because if you could see, this is collection number 1. The new ones I'm getting, I'll probably get them this week or next week. They're bad. Oh, you guys are going to love them. They're so badass. And then that's going to be collection 2. I'm going to have a whole collection. Because I got my Disorderly Product News hat on. And one time I was on the movie set of Chicago Fire, like the second time. And this guy kept on asking me questions. He's like, oh, do you sell those hats? And I go, no. He goes, why not? I'm like, because they would cost too much to produce, and then I'd have to sell them to my audience at a high price. He's like, well, so what? I'm like, well, I kind of value my audience. They watch my shows. I kind of like them. I don't want to make something and then just charge them out the wazoo for it. Like, because I feel like that's what everybody, and I'm not getting down on anybody who does this, but I feel like that's what everybody does. As soon as Teespring came out and they got so many viewers, they just put the cheapest thing on a t-shirt and they sell it to their fans, way overpriced. Like, I feel like Disorderly Product News, the brand, is too important to me to do that. And I'm not saying to anybody who does do that, I understand it. It's a smart way to make money, because at the end of the day, you could say, oh, well, it's the person's choice to decide whether they want to have my merchandise or not. So they could say, I'm not giving them the choice. So I understand that. But if I do come out with stuff, I want it to be like of the highest material, the highest grade. I don't want to just slap something and have Teespring do it. And these actually came about after people kept on donating me money. And I'm like, dude, I just cannot take your money. I got to give you something back. So I started mailing these back. Whatever happened to Chi-Town Sue? I don't know. She disappeared. She called me and told me something happened and she wanted to do something with me. And then she never called me back. Nike DPN beanies. Nike, I got to do a deal with Nike. That's going to be hard. I would like it, yeah, if I could do an official deal. If I could do a deal with Nike and Disorderly Product News, yeah, I'd go for it. Thank you, Jessica. I love you too. I heard she is taking a break from recording. Who's that? Oh, Chi-Town Sue? Yeah, she will. Yeah, she must be. She called me a while ago. And she asked me, and then she never got back to me. Is it just me, or does DPN sound like the magazine guy from The Simpsons? It's kind of scary. The magazine guy talks with like a lisp. I talk like the magazine guy from The Simpsons. Now everybody always says I sound like somebody. Like they say I sound like Sylvester Stallone. They say I sound like they say Reagan sounds like Howard Cosell or the guy from the Twilight Zone. But the mayor from the guy from the comic book guy from The Simpsons, he's like a lisp. I'm Mayor Quimby here in Springfield. Like that's like Mayor Quimby, right? Stallone's brother. I sound like Stallone's brother. Custom New Era 5950 hats in the burbs. You have a unique voice for sure. Yes, yes, yes. I say, you know what? It came because if any of you guys saw my training day video, that's probably one of my best videos. And I was going toe to toe with the Headbusters. I was in the 11th district. I was, you know, I was where the Headbusters are at. I was in the middle of the hood, and the guy was smoking, and I went over to the car, and I said, "Excuse me, sir," and he jumped back, and he's like, "I'm like, is there a reason you're smoking the car?" And he goes, "I'm not smoking the car. It's out the window," because he was holding out the window at the time. I mean, that's the best he could come up with. But the other guy, Meeks, jumped out, and he said he wanted my ID, and we just kept on going back and forth on whether I needed an ID or not. I needed 2 ID because he believed I committed an infraction by blocking the street. That's fine. But I don't need a physical ID. I wasn't driving. So I ended up in a circular conversation, and the video started off being like the best video ever, but it ended bad because I got too emotionally involved. And then I realized if I slowed down my speech pattern and I talked that way, that it wouldn't ever they can't get me mad. Remember the Asian guy who ran and he goes, "Are you talking about Rule 18?" I'm like, "No." "Are you talking about Rule 30? What are you talking about?" And he spit crackers on me the whole time. That was the first time I went to Inglewood. That was probably Reagan's best performance. That one or the one where the narcotics or the Vice Squad kept on walking back and forth and saying stuff to me right when they get out, when I can't say anything back. They said something like, "It's 2:30 in the morning, go home." And I'm like, no, he goes, "It's 3:30 in the morning, go home." I'm like, "It's 2:30, get a digital watch or those hands are screwing you up. You're too good." And they must hate that, some of them, yeah. But if you the one where Reagan's the best is it's the one where it says that's when Lathrop 1 was threatening my life. Remember Lathrop 1? Yeah. That was a good one too. And Stephanie, I got so lucky because I drove past that an hour and a half before, and they were there. So when you go live, you only go live for about 30 seconds. So they were there. What's up, Liberty Bird? I texted you, I think, yesterday. Uh, I'm holding it up in the concrete jungle. That's right. Um, yeah, Stephanie, they were there for like an hour and a half, and that's just when I passed them. I came back, and they were still there. It was 2 hours. So when I first started messing with Channel 5, I said, "What are you lying to the people about now, Channel 5? Come on, say it in my good ear. I can't hear you." And the guy was kind of nice, and he came up to me. He's like, "Whatever." I'm like, "Okay, I'm live too. You know, we're media brethren. Let me go over here and talk to Channel 7." And it just so happened she was talking into the camera, so I got behind her. So for the 2.5 hours that they stood there for that 30-second shot, I got in there. And the reason I was on for so long is if you watch, the cameraman starts coming towards me, and then I'm still talking, and the girl slid off to the side thinking the cameraman was going to follow her, but he started coming towards me, and then he stuck right in the middle, and then he goes back to the camera. So that's how I ended up on there so long, because the cameraman thought he was just going to walk up and tell me to walk away, and he got stuck in no man's land. But what had actually happened right behind us, 5 people that got shot in that barber shop. And if you watch across the street, there's a police officer watching me do it the whole time. And if you listen, the one guy says, "Oh, it's a public sidewalk," like you said. I never said a word about a public sidewalk. It makes me calm and actually relaxing. Yeah, because I'm naturally high strung. So that's the voice comes out. So I don't take anything offensive. So like when I was with Joe Cool at Madison and Pulaski or Madison Central, and there was a lieutenant and 2 officers there. So I came up, I go, "Hey guys, look at welcome to the murder capital, where we murder for capital. We celebrate good news with a homicide and bad news with a double. What's going on? What's the talk around the water cooler today, guys? Can I take part?" And he goes, "No." I go, "Okay, I'll make like a tree and leave. But first, can I get your name, rank, and star number?" He goes, "No, I didn't pull you over." I go, "That's right. I'm stopping you. Rule 37 requires you give name, rank, and star number to any member of the department, any member of the community, on or off duty. So again, sir, can you please give me your name, rank, and star number?" So, like, in real life, I'm never going to go up to a group of grown men and say, "Hey, guys, can I take part in your conversation?" Like, that's never going to happen. Never. I've never seen a group of men talking and been like, "I wonder if they'll let me be involved in that conversation." Strangers, nonetheless. So no matter what they say to me, it's not going to get me mad because I'm already making myself look like an idiot. Never have I ever seen a group of men and been like, "Do you mind if I join your conversation? I might have something to add." So that's kind of where the voice came from. Hilarious, my 2 beagles. Can you shout out my friend Nick Gurr? He has corona. Nick G. You have corona. My man Nick G with corona. I want to make sure you get better. And you better find better friends. Go find the guy that just told me to shout out Nick G and get him off this channel. I'm all for one for jokes, but dude, if you get me to say stuff like that, I'm sorry, bro. You're putting my channel in jeopardy. Yeah, my 2 beagles. Can you get rid of them? Like, I'm all for one for jokes, but trying to get me to say that is disrespectful, and it's against. It's just not right. DPN, where are you from? Wait, Lucille. Have you ever seen any of my videos? And I'm being dead honest, Lucille. Have you ever seen any of my videos? Have you been watching for a long time or not? I'm only saying that, Lucille, because I just wondered. I just wanted to know because I want to see what your answer is to that first. South Community Activist. Shout out to DPN, my favorite channel. Chicago, yeah. No, I was just wondering. I mean, she must be a new subscriber because I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, Lucille Bruce, at all. When you ask me where I'm from Chicago. But, I mean, most of my videos take place in Chicago with the Chicago police. Oklahoma, Philly, just kidding. Tinfoil hatter. Has anybody else seen the guy? Def a Yank. Maybe New York or Boston. Oh, okay. So you're not from... No, I'm from Chicago. She's from overseas. She's from England. So you must hear my accent. I'm from Little Italy, part of Chicago, so it probably has the sound of New York or Boston to you. But yeah, I'm from America. I'm from Chicago. Have you seen tinfoil hatter? Have you seen this guy? He's called Lunchbox, and I've never talked to this guy before. I've never seen him on my page before, but like The first time he ever commented, he commented to me, he said, cut the BS, cut the semantics, tell me right now, straightforward, are you an FBI agent? Like that's how he talked to me. It's like this how he asked the question. Like I'm somehow, forget about the ridiculous of the question. Like that's how you talk to somebody you don't know. Like I'm somehow obligated to answer questions you ask me. Not only that, he went and got Chuck Bronson and he told Chuck Bronson, make sure you don't have anything to do with Disorderly Product News unless he signs something or states to you verbally and you record it that he is not an FBI agent. And I thought of Tinfoil Hatter because I'm like, Lunchbox name needs to be Tinfoil Hatter. Yeah, yeah. Well, if you go through any of my videos, my latest videos, you'll find Lunchbox, and he's literally threatening me with he doesn't ask. He says, "Cut the BS. No more semantics. Right now, are you a FBI agent? Yes or no?" Like I'm okay. You got me in the corner, bro. I can't do anything. I am. Lunchbox, I am. There's the answer. I am. I am. I am. You're right. If you are completely right. You know that super advantageous legal position in which you have to ask. If you ask someone straightforward, they cannot lie to you. They can't do it. The police cannot lie to you. Government officials cannot lie to you. That's the law. So you got me. I'm an FBI. I've been working with the FBI for quite a while. I don't have to tell you how long. I've told you I'm an FBI agent. That's all you need to know. Wow. I talk about you the other day, Liberty Bird. I'm like, I really have been paying attention to this coronavirus, but when Liberty Bird said, you could come camping with me in the Rockies, I started thinking, like, that's a sentence that really came out of somebody's mouth. Like, this is the beginning days of The Walking Dead. Like, if things get much worse, you can just come to hang out in the Rockies with me. I'm like, oh, shit. The only works for drug deals, I thought. That only works for drug. It doesn't work at all. Cops can lie to you. It doesn't work at all. Don't think it, if you sell whatever you sell, don't be like, are you a cop? And believe that he has to tell you. No, cops can lie to you. That's the point of being undercover. They're lying. Yes. It's not true. Like that, they're undercover. They're pretending to be somebody they're not. They're lying to you the whole time. They're lying to you about their name. That's not their name. Like, that's the point of being undercover. Yeah. Yeah. The Supreme Court's upheld the cops are allowed to lie to you. Never talk to cops. Never answered questions, cops, but ask them questions all day long. Oh, and I got that other video shot on how I made the cop cry on the stand. I have it done. I just got to put it up. China made it to take out the U.S. military so they can attack. But like, what? Okay, so South Florida, DCL. When you say something like China made it to take out the U.S. military so they can attack, you say that with like confidence, like you know. Like, do you have like contacts inside the Chinese government, or are you just guessing? Because that's one thing that's why it's like I don't want to even listen to anything because people, there's something about human nature that people want to seem shocking and sound like they know what they're talking about. Like, unless you have like a person inside the Chinese government, like you just got that idea off a YouTube channel, really, right? The shy comms. Caution tape all over. Thanks. Shadow ban test. Haha. I usually just assume, then guess, then make the crap up. I like that, Mark Miller. I like self-deprecating humor. That was great. That's what I usually do. Hey, guys, I'm going to cut this right now, and I'm going to come right back on because we're at 45 minutes. People will not watch the video tomorrow if it's more than 45 minutes. I'm going off right now, and I'm coming right back on.